Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading on March 31, 2026, the last day of March. We're going to be going into April Fool's Day. Beware of your local perpetrators. You know, on April Fool's Day here, they did something really nefarious. Yes, they stuck up, what do you call it, a directed energy weapon across the county road pointed towards my house. Ha 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 ha. Something like that. But anyway, that's what the criminals do. They think it's funny. I don't know. I don't celebrate April Fool's Day. It's just another day in the neighborhood. But thank you so much for the articles that you've provided me, and also for the comments on the testimonial that I provided on behalf of my father. There's obviously so much more that, I don't always remember everything because there's so much about my father. So perhaps I'll do a part 2 in the not too distant future. But thank you for the video that was provided me yesterday. It's entitled "The Vast Network of Men Drugging and Raping Their Wives." This was by CNN, and currently the video is unavailable. The uploader has not made this video available in your country. I don't know, the United States pretty much can view any of these, right? This is CNN. It was 5 days ago. And the comments are turned off, and there's no description that has been added to the video. But nevertheless, somebody took it down, or it's not available anymore. A vast network of men drugging and raping their wives. Now, I watch a lot of true crime videos, not just targeted individual videos, because, in my past life that I studied, abnormal, deviant, and violent psychology. And even as a teenager, I was fascinated with the minds of criminals, which is probably why I can survive as long as I have here in Jackson County, Kentucky, because, let's face it, what's going on here is off the chart psychopathy. Literally, if I wanted to get my PhD, I could literally study the neighborhood, and I'm sure I could come up with a fabulous PhD thesis paper. But nevertheless, lots of videos have been posted recently about men drugging and raping their wives. And not only that, but there was one man who was drugging his wife for years. And then filming her with his friends, inviting his friends. And actually, this particular case is in the courts, I believe, right now. And that's what he was doing. For years, he had been doing this, drugging his wife. And then there were other men who were poisoning their wives to delete them. Arsenic, rat poison, all kinds of things. So, the way to look at this is, listen, if you don't want to be married, you don't like your husband, you don't like your wife, there's something, well, I should say simple. It's not that simple. It took me 3.5 years to get a divorce, and I'm no celebrity. But there is something called a divorce. There's also something called a legal separation, or a separation. You don't need to stay in a relationship like this, these men drugging their wives. But obviously there's something more nefarious going on here. It's not that they wanted a divorce. They were doing it for the thrill, the psychopathy of violating another person while they're under the influence. And unfortunately, this is happening actually worldwide, but certainly in our communities across the United States. It's not only happening to drugging and raping wives, but it's also drugging young people who are at bars, who will leave bars, and then who always seem to be tied to some fraternity or some Masonic sacrifice, ritual sacrifice. And these up-and-coming young people are getting drugged, and they're ending up in small bodies of water. And I posted a video on this a couple of weeks ago about these young people that went missing that show up in bodies of water. And one of you guys commented there are actually more than I mentioned. I mentioned that there are dozens. Actually, this subscriber said to date there are 411 such crimes. Same young people, attractive, intelligent, come from good families. And these are hate crimes. It's jealousy. But in other ways, these are sacrifices, satanic ritual abuse. So the next the next article that was provided to me, and when I read this, it immediately caught my attention because it reminded me of the eBay stalker case. Years ago, there were a couple of retired law enforcement that went to work in the eBay security division. Well, there was obviously an eBay seller that they didn't like because that eBay seller was speaking out about eBay policies, which everybody has a right to do. I mean, some of the policies are not that great. This was a couple, and it wasn't a young couple, it was an older couple who had an eBay business. So these men decided they were going to join together with a few eBay employees and harass the hell out of this couple on the other side of the country. Well, we'll just fast forward, these people were sending dead animals to them, just like what happens here in Jackson County, Kentucky, where I've got dead animals in my mailbox and on the driveway, and poopy diapers are dropped off by the local neighbor, the poopynurse.com, Bow Wow family, and draping poopy toilet paper over my gate, caught also on video. So I'm not just speaking about this, I've caught it on video. Undeniable. So these are crimes that actually take place. It's satanic ritual abuse, trauma-based mind control, and with the eBay stalker case, they were sending dead animals, harassing them, cyber stalking, and actually, lo and behold, this couple were able to get media attention, a newspaper, which caught the attention of many people who were speaking out about it. eBay was brought into it because they obviously were letting their employees run rampant over this couple. Fast forward, there was a trial. There was an FBI agent, spectacular guy, and literally, if you're out there, please contact me. Please, please, please. I've got a great case for you, and I guarantee you will win this case, because I have way more evidence that this couple had. So anyway, so an FBI agent testified on the couple's behalf. They had full media attention. And guess what happened to those little coppers that were harassing them? They got charged with cyber stalking. They actually went to prison. Not for a long time, but they went to prison, had to pay restitution, and probably by now they're probably out. Probably gang stalking somebody else. You never know. So this article is in the Gateway Pundit, and it's dated March 31, 2026, which is today at noon today, by Paul Serran. 22, now you have to understand the numerology here, 22 people tied to a controversial French Masonic Lodge. They're on trial for murder. And this is for informational purposes only. I'm merely reading a public article, and I'll show you what it looks like here. Oh! Doesn't that look familiar? Looks familiar. It looks like two inverted V's that form their compass. What do they call that? Compass? It's a tool of measurement. A shady lodge running killer squads is the stuff of fiction, only in real life. A murder trial kicked off yesterday in Paris, which is generating a lot of controversy in the press and in French society in general. No less than 22 people. 22 is a master number. They're facing charges of murder and other serious crimes, and it's all centered on members of a shady Masonic Lodge accused of running hit squads. Hit squads, vendetta squads, squads. Out of the defendants, 13. 13. Does that sound like a familiar number? 13 face life imprisonment if they're convicted. 22 people stand trial in France in a case centered on a Masonic lodge accused of running hit squads. They're accused of murder, attempted murder, aggravated assault, and criminal conspiracy on behalf of a mafia network inside the Athanor, Athanor, Masonic Lodge in Paris. Those in the dock include 4 military personnel from France's Foreign Intelligence Service, DGSE. Okay, so put this in your cap, guys. 4 military personnel from the Foreign Intelligence Service, 2 coppers, 2 police officers, a retired domestic intelligence officer, a security guard, and 2 business executives. Wow, you know what? This does not even sound like a conspiracy theory anymore. It sounds like exactly what happens to targeted individuals. These little effers, they are accused of the murder of a racing driver, race car driver. He was probably really good, and maybe he was driving a little faster than some of his competition, and maybe his competition didn't like him, was jealous and envious, and that's what they do. They take you out. If they're envious and jealous of you, they don't want you to win. They're also accused of the attempted murders of a business coach and a trade unionist, aggravated assault, and criminal conspiracy, all on behalf of a mafia network inside the former Athanor Masonic Lodge in the Paris suburb of Puteaux, Puteaux. Excuse me, I have horrible alternate language skills. So that's most of it. At the heart of the case is the Athanor Masonic Lodge in Paris suburb of Puteaux. Prosecutors allege that the lodge served as a hub for a tightly organized network that carried out violent acts, ranging from assaults to contract killings. Wow. You know, one of my subscribers provided a testimonial, and he said that when he was very young, 3 years old, he would be abducted from his house with his sister, and they would go to the basement of some local Masonic lodge. I think these Masonic lodges need to be investigated. Don't you? The alleged ringleaders, Jean-Luc Bagor, Frederic Vaglio, and Danielle Boulier, are all linked to the Athanor Lodge and are accused of orchestrating, collaborating a series of crimes through a structured chain of command. They, along with Bulot's associate Sebastien Leroy, face the most severe penalties. The case first came to light following a failed contract killing in July 2020. This is what happens. Mistakes do happen. 2 members of France's parachute regiment were arrested near the home of a business coach, Marie-Helene Denis, while in possession of weapons. These are not the brightest stars on the planet. Under questioning, the pair claimed that they believed that they had been tasked by the state to eliminate Denis, alleged she has ties with the Israeli intelligence agency Mossad, which of course she likely did not. This is just a slander campaign, right? To set people up. The complex trial is expected to last up to 3 months. Now, 3 months is a nanosecond for a trial like this. 3 months is nothing. My divorce lasted 3.5 years. So please leave your comments down below. This is fascinating. But I'm sure this is only one such story. I'm sure there are many of them. But remember, these are secret societies. And they take these oaths, the little pinky oaths, the brotherhood oaths. Do not speak, otherwise you will have your tongue cut out by the roots and thrown on Lorraine Valente's porch as a threat. It's okay. In case you missed it, I have a short video on my channel of the tongue that was dropped on my porch on the same day that my chicken was killed inside a triple locked chicken coop. And the curtain was methodically cut into the V symbol. Underneath this, I'll just mention the next topic, the next article is Exorcist Priest warns against using Ouija boards. Demons lie and impersonate dead people. Ouija boards are sold in the United States as a harmless board game. Oh, they are not harmless, but according to one Catholic priest who is an actual exorcist, the Ouija is a dangerous tool of divination. We'll leave on that note. Leave a comment down below. So, what do you think is going to happen in this only 3-month trial? Do you think these 22 or 13 people, do you think they're going to go to prison? Out of the defendants, 13 face life imprisonment if convicted. If. Keyword, if.